welcome to ET Markets Crypto TV presented by CoinSwitch Kuber. I'm Miloni Bhatt. One of the words that's most associated with cryptocurrencies is blockchain. But what exactly is blockchain? What are its uses? What does it do? And what does it have to do with cryptocurrencies? Now, if like me, you're keen to know more, then stay with us because we've got a very exciting guest with us, Yash Dahenkar, and he's the founder of AcknoLedger and Bitgenie. Yash, thank you very much for joining us. I read somewhere that, blockchain actually precedes crypto. How true is that? Can you take us through that?
Hey, hi, Miloni. Thanks a lot for inviting me today, and I'm glad that I'm here to share that knowledge. So, blockchain and crypto, these are the two coins of the two sides of the same coin, and they go hand in hand. Okay, like so, in order to make any blockchain a public blockchain, you need cryptocurrencies. Okay, like which is completely open and decentralized. Okay, so both of them, have huge potential and they go hand in hand because in order to create a cryptocurrency, you need a blockchain. Okay, so it's like that Ram and Lakhan, I'll say, these are the two brothers, I'll say, but you need both of them. You cannot just say this one is better and this one is not. Like, so yeah, that's my take on this. Yeah.
Right. So how did blockchain come to be? Was it invented? Who are the people behind it?
Yeah. So I'll just zoom out a bit and give you a bigger picture. So in 1970s and 1980s, people start, they were trying to create their own digital currency. Okay, it goes back like I think 40-50 years back. But they were not successful because I think the technology advancements were not there. Even the infrastructure wise, we were not there yet. Okay, and people like Hal Fanny and Nick Szabo, these are the big scientists. Okay, they started kind of working in 2004-5. Started publishing papers, and in 2008, okay, this guy called Satoshi Nakamoto, he's anonymous. Okay, nobody knows who is Satoshi, by the way. He published on 3rd Jan 2008. He published a paper which is known as Bitcoin white paper. Okay. So that was the seed to this whole journey. Okay, and everybody was like, it was just Bitcoin. There was no blockchain. During that time, everyone was like this Bitcoin. And then exactly after a year, Satoshi Nakamoto launched the Bitcoin, the live blockchain. Okay, and since that time, it's running without zero downtime. Since last I think 12-13 years, it's working fine with zero downtime, and it is one of the biggest network over the internet. Okay, so that's how it all started. But in terms of blockchain, so it all started with Bitcoin, and now as we are we started moving ahead in the futures in 2011, 2012, people started noticing that when they were reading that white paper, there's a term known as blockchain. Okay, and they started going a little bit deeper. What is this blockchain? So they realized that blockchain has a huge potential. Okay, then came Ethereum. Ethereum kind of completely, it's a second cryptocurrency, by the way, which is in terms of market cap and where they deploy smart contracts. So then Ethereum changed the complete paradigm, and it was created by a 19-year-old guy known as Vitalik. Okay, so he published a paper, and then in 2030, we started, as Vitalik published the white paper of Ethereum, then people started realizing, this blockchain has a huge potential. You can do so many things with blockchain. And that's how the blockchain started taking off. And after 2015 and then 2016, a lot of new projects they came, and we realized there's also enterprise blockchain today, which we can be integrated in supply chain and every other aspect, like even automobile industry, telecom industry, and it has a potential in almost every single industry, like the way we use artificial intelligence. So that's how whole the story started with Bitcoin white paper. And then initially we had only cryptocurrencies, and then people realized this blockchain has a huge potential, and then we started doing research. So that's how this whole story came, and we realized its true potential.
So Yash, please tell us what exactly is blockchain and what is the connect with crypto?
Yeah, so blockchain is nothing. It's a decentralized database that distributes the trust over the internet. Okay, so what I mean by distributing the trust is, say, imagine like today, when you are buying, selling any asset, let's say, you are ordering something from Amazon or Flipkart. So you're ordering from a third party, like, you don't know that person, whatever the goods you're buying, but Amazon acts as an intermediary. Like, it acts like a gateway to this buying and selling process.
A
So
middleman.
they have too much of power. Yeah. So basically they ensure that there's a trust between the buyer and seller. And that's what they create a lot of value, and that's why they make money. So in the Web 2.0 or the old internet that we use today, the problem is that we cannot distribute the trust. It's the old internet is all about sharing data. But with this new internet, okay, through using this blockchain, what we are essentially doing is we are distributing the trust. So say, imagine like this process, if it is done on a blockchain, what will happen is, say, Miloni, you're a seller, I'm a buyer. Now, you are selling the good. And the whole transaction will happen on a blockchain network. So money will be deducted from my account. But you as a seller will not receive the money till the time I receive the courier. So during the complete process, the money stays on the blockchain network, and I sign a smart contract with you. Like, it's like a digital contract where, you define the terms. Okay. And then once I receive my courier, okay, and you will immediately receive the money in your account. So this way, it ensures that the trust is distributed. And this is, I've just given you one analogy. So it has a potential to change the complete banking system, the way we buy, borrow, lend, take insurance, or, do everything, like even derivatives market. Okay. This DeFi space, decentralized finance. So it has a huge potential. So that's what blockchain is. And what it essentially does, there are, it ensures transparency, because you can see all the transactions on the Bitcoin blockchain. If you go or any blockchain, all the transactions are transparent. It's just that you don't know whose transaction is that. Like, it's pseudo anonymous, I would say. It's not completely anonymous because you don't know whose address is this. So but transactions, so it has a transparency. You establish the trust better, and it's completely decentralized. So there's no one single person who owns the network. Like, for example, say Indian rupee is owned by, controlled by RBI. US dollar is controlled by Federal Reserve. But over here, this is not a currency which belongs to only one single country. Okay, anyone from any place in the world, they control the complete network, as as more and more people become part of the network. So that's what blockchain is, and blockchain is the foundational pillar for the new internet, which we call Web 3.0. And yeah, so that's what blockchain is.
Blockchain given.
Yeah, so I'll give an analogy to explain that. Why the term blockchain? So blockchain is derived from two words, block and chain. So have you played that game Snakes in the past? Like, in the Nokia phone, where the snake eats the insect, and the size of the snake increases. I hope a lot of people have played that game. It was really famous, and still I think it comes in Nokia phone today itself. Like, if you buy a Nokia phone, I'll give you an analogy of that. So imagine that snake as a blockchain and the insect as a set of transactions. So instead of putting all the transaction in one go, what we do is we essentially divide the transactions in chunks. Like, okay, so imagine, like, when the snake eats the insect, the size of the snake increases. Similarly, whenever a new set of transaction is added in the blockchain, the size of the blockchain increases. But the only difference between that game Snakes and the real blockchain is the length of that snake is only restricted to that screen. But over here, the length of the blockchain can be infinite. And that's why that name has came, because we we divide the transactions that happen in those blocks, and that's how we keep adding them. Yeah. So yeah, that's why that's how the term came, blockchain. Yeah.
That's very, very fascinating. But
yeah,
what are the features? You explained to us that it is transparent. Can you unpack that a little bit for us?
Yeah. So yeah. Got it. So transparency, like, say, if you do any transaction in a bank today, nothing is transparent. Who is taking what, or like, there's no.
But
don't know, like, who. Yeah, but you only know your person.
What's happening?
No, not your account, but as in general, there's no transparency. As in, say, when I do any transaction, when I'm doing transactions with an unknown person, I don't know whether they'll send the money or not. So I have to rely on third parties. That is one of the biggest problems, and that's where this FANG company like Facebook, Google, Amazon, Apple, they take advantage of us. Like, they basically they have so much of data and power, right? Literally on us. Like, they literally control us in a way, in terms of buying, selling products, or whatnot. So through this blockchain, what happens is, say, I'm sending, say, let's take an example of Bitcoin blockchain. I'll just keep an example of Bitcoin blockchain. So when I am sending one Bitcoin to you, Miloni, which is worth around $44,000 today. Yeah. So,
Please send it,
so
Yash.
yeah. So now what's happening is when I send this transaction, so this transaction immediately gets mapped on a blockchain network and over a block number, okay, and which is visible to everyone. But it's just that the address of my wallet and your wallet, people don't know that whose wallet is that. Okay, so that way you can track the transaction and see all the transactions that are happening on the network, and that's why it's more transparent. It's just that it's pseudo anonymous. I'll say it's not completely anonymous, like it's partially anonymous. So you can track all the transactions that are happening on the blockchain network, which is open to everyone, and which creates a trust in itself, because I know when someone is sending the money, I can directly check on the network. And this helps in a lot of when companies they collaborate, like say when you are managing a supply chain, okay, when there are say 15-20 stakeholders, each supplier is giving every product, so you can easily track every single product over the blockchain network because all the transactions are transparent. So that's what makes blockchain very powerful, and it increases the trust with all the stakeholders in the network. Yeah. So yeah.
Right. So now, are there different kinds of blockchain? I'm understanding that, there are so many implications of it. So obviously, if you can tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So there are three types of blockchain, I'll say. So the first one is the public blockchain, which are really famous right now, which are trending, like which is known as Bitcoin, Ethereum. So what is the main functionality of public blockchain is that you, me, anyone can become part of that network. We just need a server which can connect with that network, and that's how we can start making passive income by mining. Okay, I'll not go into that right now, but yeah. So all those blockchains are public. Anyone can join the network, and they can become part of that. So these are all public because, and all the transactions are open to everyone. So these are known as public blockchains, and there are private blockchains. Say for example, say banks. So there are say 5 banks, and there or say 10 banks. They want to create their own network to do those internal transactions. So these are like public, not private blockchains, but not open to everyone. Only by invitation you can join those networks. So these are known as private blockchains. Okay. And the third category is like say hybrid blockchains, where there's some part of the network is open to public, and the rest of the part is private. Like say for example banks, like say there's a fundraise going, or like everyone is going say this COVID relief. Okay, so COVID relief fund is there. Like I will give an example. So all the transactions that are coming are open to public. Okay, which money is flowing. We keep it on the public blockchain, but how the money is like going out and like some internal transactions, like we keep it private blockchain. So that way we can have like based on how we want to design the process, we can do that in the hybrid blockchain network. Like even in supply chain, because there are say some sensitive data which you don't want to share with everyone in the network. Okay, like some trade secrets. So that's where you need that private blockchain, and you can design that hybrid blockchain. So there are 3 types. I'm again repeating. First is the public blockchain like Bitcoin and Ethereum blockchain, which is open to everyone. The second is the private blockchain, which is mostly used by enterprises, like and the third is the hybrid, where you use the combination of the public and the private based on the application that you are building. So yeah.
So can anyone create a blockchain?
Yeah, anyone can create a blockchain. But the problem is, here comes the tricky part. Creating a blockchain is not that easy. It takes years to build that infrastructure and everything. Okay. So for that, we have something really interesting, and that is known as smart contracts. Okay. So instead of creating a blockchain from the scratch, you can just write a smart contract on a blockchain like Ethereum and enjoy all the functionality and features of a blockchain. Okay, so that is the coolest part about the smart contracts. And Ethereum is one of the the leading kind of a blockchain that drives the growth. So what you can do, say for example, we want to create a voting system which is open to everyone. Okay, so you can just write the smart contract of that and can deploy on the Ethereum network, and you will get all the functionality of blockchain. So you don't have to create the blockchain from the scratch. You can enjoy all the functionality of the blockchain by using just the smart contracts. So yeah. And
so smart contract is like a program that allows you to jump onto a blockchain, is it?
Smart contract is nothing but like we sign legal documents, right? Like we have signed a Miloni, say we have signed a rent agreement, and now, but it's on paper and I have to manually pay you the money. But in smart contracts, it's really smart. So you hard code it, like you have to write a programmable code, okay, on the smart contract in that language, whichever you are coding, okay, and then we sign a rent agreement. So what will happen is, so your account and my account gets mapped and automatically, and say every month I keep a cycle that every month, say, around 15K is deducted from my account, or so I can put that hard coded in that smart contract, and automatically every month the money will be deducted from my account and it will be transferred to your account. So you don't have to do anything. So it's like a rent agreement, a smart code which is living on the blockchain. So you don't have to worry, and it is open and transparent, so anyone can look at it. So yeah, so this is what a smart contract is. So you can not just rent agreement, but you can do, say, all the employee agreements and all type of agreements. You can convert it into blockchain, so the smart contracts, and even you can create your own cryptocurrencies using smart contracts.
You've mentioned in passing the uses of blockchain tech, that it can be used in banking. What are the other sectors that can use blockchain?
Blockchain is like, I'll say there, I'll just introduce one more terminology. Okay, I'll not complicate too much, but there are two types of innovations. Okay, first is the horizontal innovation, the second is the vertical innovation. So horizontal innovations are like innovations that can be, applied to almost every industry, like internet. Okay, internet can be used from real estate to telecom to, even automotive. Like it can be used anywhere, right? Here we are using it today. And similarly, artificial intelligence is also a horizontal innovation. But there's, one innovation type of innovation is like a vertical innovation, which is only restricted to that particular industry, like say genomics. So whatever the innovation that is happening in genomics, you cannot use in real estate because that is only restricted to the genomic space. But this blockchain, okay, so this blockchain is this new horizontal, which is not explored yet, where it can be used in almost every single industry. Okay, so I'll give an example. So for this banking, I told you, like, this decentralized finance. Okay, finance is there, but this is a new internet. Like, we are building this decentralized finance, like a blockchain like a bank that lives on a blockchain network. So where you can do borrowing, lending, insurance, derivatives, for even forex and whatnot. And then from even healthcare, you can build application where which are transparent, how the money flowing, how the medicines are coming. Supply chain is there. And even like one of the really interesting use cases, like managing the NFTs. NFTs are kind of something really interesting that is happening. Like we get those certificates today, okay, which are right now like on a paper or a PDF file. Okay, like let's take an example, like we are getting this vaccine certificates which are editable, okay, which is like crazy. So people like so it can be bugged. But if we issue a NFT based certificate, NFT is like a non-fungible token which is created on the top of blockchain. Okay, so it's not editable or cannot be like transferred to anyone. So you own that certificate. Okay, so and certification based NFTs. So NFTs are something that can be used and applied to almost every single industry, but I'll not go into that NFT, like what exactly it is. So from supply chain and banking, finance is something which is right now hitting up, and people are working on almost every single use case in the industry. Even telecom, like say today we have this IST calls, like international calls. So that settlement of that happens on a blockchain. So yeah, there are a lot of many use cases. I've mentioned just few of them. Yeah.
So Yash, people invest in cryptocurrencies, but can we invest in blockchains?
No. So when you are basically buying the cryptocurrency, you are actually investing in the blockchain itself.
Right.
Because what you are essentially doing is you are supporting that network. So when you buy, like say, let's take example of Ethereum blockchain, or when you buy a cryptocurrency of that blockchain, okay, like you are actually supporting that ecosystem. So you cannot, like, because there's no way you can also invest in a blockchain by, like, say, if there's any company which is like a startup, okay, or a private company, and they have their own private blockchain. It's not a public blockchain. Then you are actually buying a stake, and then whatever the blockchain they own or IP they own, you are becoming part of that network. But when you are actually buying a cryptocurrency, you are buying nothing, but you are becoming part of that blockchain and you are supporting that blockchain.
So you're saying the private blockchains, because you said that there are hybrid blockchains, there are public blockchains, and then there are private blockchains, right?
Yeah.
So one can be part of a private blockchain when it comes to investment. But
you can be.
But otherwise, when you invest in cryptocurrencies, you any which way become part of the blockchain universe.
Exactly.
Right. Is blockchain then a bigger deal than cryptocurrencies? Because obviously, from what I understand, from what you're telling me, it is something that underpins, or cryptocurrencies then hinge on blockchains.
Yeah, so it's not a fight, I'll say, as I told you in the beginning, the blockchain and crypto, these are the two sides of the same coin. You cannot, a lot of people who don't understand blockchain, they'll tell you, you can bifurcate both of them and can work it. But, let me be honest with you. So it's hard to do that. And when you can only realize the potential of each thing when you use them together. Okay. And so they go hand in hand. And crypto, basically, blockchain is that in underpin technology, but crypto, it has the potential to, like in future, what will happen, I tell you, like in next 30 to 50 years, all your assets, whether it's, you're buying a McDonald's burger or you're buying a Starbucks coffee, every asset, like, everyone will have a token, a cryptocurrency, which will be buying and trading and selling. Okay. Like when you buy, like say, even we will have a digital rupee. Okay. Like China already launched their digital yuan.
Yes.
So every single asset will be tokenized. Tokenized as in like, a token will be created for that, whether it's your real estate or it doesn't matter, okay, what it is. So there'll be like, and this crypto has a potential, if you see, look at all money in the world, it's around like, around $80 trillion. So it can surpass all of that. Like in next 30 to 50 years, crypto has a potential to become $100 trillion industry, not a billion. I'm saying T with the trillion. In GDP of India is 2.5 trillion, and it can become like 100 times that. Like, so it can become huge in next 30 to 50 years. Yeah.
Fascinating. But Yash, tell me something. How is blockchain currently being used in India? What is the offtake? How are we doing when it comes to blockchain?
Yeah. So the government of Karnataka recently, implemented this land-based registry systems, okay, where they are using blockchain and even certification. Some of the projects are happening where, they are issuing certificates on the blockchain network. Okay, so these are certain use cases people are working, and even I have heard about this, but I'm not verified it. The DND system that you use, okay, like do not disturb on your phone, okay, when you activate it, it's actually built on the blockchain network. Okay, that I was fascinated to know when I realized this is something really cool, like, created on a blockchain network. So yeah, so there are a lot of applications which you use on a regular basis, but you don't realize they are built on blockchain. It's just that, users, they don't care much about the technology because they want to understand, but already it's happening. The only thing that we need from the government is the good support, because, we have one unicorn also, which is Polygon. They are doing exceptionally well in the overall crypto market. And all the investors around the world, they love Indian founders when it comes to crypto, because we are hardworking, we know where we are going, and we have a very strong ecosystem. So if government helps the Indian founders, I think we have a potential to become leaders in this space and drive the growth of across the world. Okay, and like create a lot of opportunities, jobs, and bring in a lot of money in India. So yeah.
From what I understand, Yash, blockchain, cryptocurrencies, these are quite, very revolutionary.
Yeah.
Does this also mean that there is a scope that they can be misused?
Absolutely. So there are, because a lot of people, they don't understand this blockchain and crypto. So there's one big problem right now, which even I have faced when I deal with a lot of these people, when I'm trying to help them in their journey, is like a lot of people, they got scammed also. Like scammed, like, because people take advantage when you don't know something new comes up. If you don't educate yourself, you will fall in the trap, and, and the greed. Okay. And how they kind of, scam the people is like, giving them some good deals. Okay. Like, and when people, they become greedy, they fall in that trap. So, so you need to be really careful, who you are dealing with. There are exchanges which are really good, but again, you need to be careful when you're dealing. So that is something which I personally feel is one of the big problem, because crypto space moves really, really fast. Like you cannot just sit today and, because in every 15, 30 days, this like the crypto ecosystem brings something new and interesting. Okay, so you have to constantly catch up. Even personally, being an expert in this space, I spend a lot of time in reading and understanding a lot of new projects that are coming. Okay, so you have to catch up. It's not something where you can just say, okay, I've learned blockchain, that's enough. It's not like that. You have to constantly, because now there's a decentralized finance coming, then there's NFTs, and now this metaverses things is going bigger. I've just used that term because I just want to tell people that how things move in the crypto. They move really, really fast. So the scammers, I think scam is something which is kind of a little bit challenging, which I personally think can become a big problem if we don't educate people around it. Yeah.
So then, do you have any advice for people? What should they do, in case if they think, oh, wow, this is a really good deal? And because we hear so much about crypto, so much about blockchain, and it's very easy for anyone to get attracted to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So crypto is a good, so go on when you buy and sell this exchanges, go on the good exchanges that, we have in India, really good, amazing exchanges, which are trustworthy. So do transactions where you trust the people or the person, but even be careful. Like you have to do your own research. There's a term in crypto we use, we known as DYOR, which is do your own research. So whenever you buy and sell, you have to spend some time before, buying and selling. So if you do that, just, and it's very easy.
One last thing is, what is the biggest myth people have about blockchains, and which one would you like to bust?
So biggest myth, I'll say, people, they, try to get a lot of confusion about this blockchain and crypto. Okay, so that is like one of the biggest myth, it is used for a lot of wrong reasons. It's not like that. They are the most transparent systems, okay? Because a lot of people, it's a little bit complicated, to explain what blockchain is to the people. And that's where, it becomes one of the really biggest challenge. It's one of the big challenge of this complete space. And the myth is like, if you ban cryptocurrencies, you are like, but you can still use blockchain. So that is, to some extent, it's true, but it's some myth. As I told you, like you cannot unleash the potential, because if you're just using a blockchain, like just a blockchain, you're not using any cryptocurrency around it, you are making it a private blockchain, which is not open to anyone. Okay, so this is one problem which can, but when you kind of organize it with a crypto, it becomes a public and transparent. So this is one myth, like a lot of people, they don't understand like the difference between the two technologies and how they go hand in hand. But again, like, so the true potential cannot be unlocked if they don't, you don't use them together. Yeah.
Well, Yash Dahenkar, founder of AcknoLedger and Bitgenie, thank you so very much for speaking to us. And you can see from the excitement on his face that he's really, really positive about Internet 3.0, Yash. Is that what you call it?
Yeah. And 3.0 and the Internet, yes. Yeah. And also kind of, I just want to add, like the closing point is that this technology, it has a huge potential, widely misunderstood. A lot of people, they don't spend enough time to understand it. They just, read overview and they think they have understood. Personally, it took me at least 2 years to understand how Bitcoin blockchain works in a detail. Okay, so it's not easy, guys. So you have to spend time, invest your time, but again, it will give you exponential returns. Okay, because the future, the next 20-30 years belongs to this space, and it's just getting started. It's like, in getting into the internet during the early days of the internet. You are in the 1990s of the new internet. Okay, so there are, the next Amazon, Google, and Facebook is coming from this space, and it's just getting started. So you have a huge opportunity. So don't keep your eyes closed. Like, look at the opportunity, take a leap of faith, and just start investing your time around it. Yes. So
wow, Yash, thank you so much. That was really, really insightful. Thank you for spending your time with us, and we wish you all the best. It's really simplified blockchain, hasn't it? And I really hope you all will benefit from it as well. Stay tuned for more from all of us on ET Markets Crypto TV, presented by CoinSwitch Kuber.